Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this TMI Tuesday's edition is all about what is happening, yes, in Nigeria related to the warning given by Donald Trump. If you do not act fast, underline that word, if you do not act fast. I've been talking so much about this. But with me here in the studio, a security expert. When you talk about security, lives, properties, what and what to do to safeguard yourself against external, internal invasion, here's a one, two. Pick one or two advice from Jimmy to welcome Sheriff Azeke. Welcome to TMI.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, we're here today. It's no longer news that Donald Trump has made this comment. He reaffirmed it some few days ago, saying that he said what he said because of the report he heard about the genocide in Nigeria targeted against Christians, and it has raised so many reactions. Some are saying that it's just one particular religion that has been affected. It is not correct. Others are saying, yes, he's very correct in the sense that more Christians have fallen, so to speak, to this terrorist and, of course, bandit. As it stands right now, Nigerians have been talking about it. As a security expert, what do you feel about Donald Trump's comment in relation to what is happening in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. I think Donald Trump is weakening the system. It's making everybody to sit well. Personally, I'm seeing it from a different dimension. The dimension in which I'm looking at it is there's already a kind of reawakening, a spark by both the security agencies, both the federal government, and both the citizens. But all this why, it's like we are not too handling security matter very, very serious. And the security issue has been going on. It's not today that these terrorists have been killing the citizens of Nigeria. It started long ago, and it's like the actions that have been taken, they are not much proactive, because every day we still hear this thing going on, people being killed wantonly, and it's like there's fire on the mountain and nobody seems to be running. Nigeria was not like this. Some years ago, Nigerians could sleep with their two eyes closed. Nigerians could travel in the night without fear. Nigerians could do certain things without looking back or forth who is going to hurt whoever. But today, everybody is scared. You are traveling, you are afraid. You are at home, you are afraid. You are going out, you are afraid. Farmers are afraid to go to the farm, to farm. So the whole thing is very, very wide. And people keep on talking about this security issue because Nigerian problem number one is insecurity. Number one problem of this country is insecurity. If I would say number two problem is insecurity, I think I'm not wrong. Because security is the bedrock in which anything can thrive. No matter what you want to do in life, security is your foundation. If there's no security, there'll be obscurity. And the primary purpose of government is to protect the lives of citizens. And this aspect is not proactively taken. And every day we hear of this killing, every day we hear killing. But now, Donald Trump is coming up with something, and everybody is running up and down. But the issue there is that whether Donald Trump or not Donald Trump, we should collectively come together and fight this monster called insecurity, not as a religious thing, but as Nigerians. We should put religion aside. We should put politics aside. We should put personal interests aside. We should come as a people, as a nation, to address this one thing that is troubling us called insecurity.
Just one thing troubling us is called insecurity. Well, you're a doctor in your field, and I believe that you have in-depth, knowledge when it comes to how to secure life and property. Some are blaming Donald Trump that he's taking this too far. After all, you don't have the right to say that you want to invade another country if XYZ isn't done. What's your response to that?
Everybody has his own opinion.
Yes.
And everybody is entitled to his own opinion. But in the other world, Nigeria is a sovereign state. You cannot just come in and do whatever you want to do. We must understand that aspect. But I think the government should sit tight at this time, because the government have never had this pressure from any angle. But now they are getting this pressure. So it's going to cause them to have sleepless nights to address this issue holistically. What I will expect the government to do is not to confront America or to confront Donald Trump, but to dialogue. There should be a diplomatic expression where these two nations come together and see the areas in which they can agree in the touching this aspect of insecurity.
All right. Now, let's take a look at the situation right now. Some are saying that what Donald Trump said is correct, that Christians are the worst hit when you talk about security situation. But others are saying that is completely incorrect. From your own analysis, you've been in Nigeria, you do your job in Nigeria. From the reports you've gathered, is there really a genocide against Christians in Nigeria?
One thing about security is that when we are not sincere in handling security matter, because when people are not sincere, there will be insecurity. Insincerity breeds insecurity. When we see lights and we call it darkness, when we see blue, we call it black. I think there's a problem somewhere. The killings have been going on. Nobody should tell me that there are no killings going on in this country. Mass killings. Go to the YouTube, you will see this thing. They are not AI doctored videos. But the issue of genocide, genocide is a systematic way of erasing a race or a religion. People have been talking about it's against Christian, the genocide on Christian. If you look at it very well, sincerely, Christians have been more, they have the upper side in the area of killings. A lot of Christians have been killed when it comes to this issue of insecurity. But we should not just peg it on that one, because anyone that is killing Nigeria is a Nigerian. And we should look at it from the angle of the Nigerian factor, the Nigerian perspective. That, because when you are talking about Christians being killed, and you put it on that, you will not see the other side of it. As long as the killings are going on, but Christians are more killed than any other group of persons. But apart from Christian, other group of persons, religious persons, they are also affected.
All right, so let's say it cuts across board.
Yes.
All right, now some of the opinion that Donald Trump really is not really hitting at the presidency. He's talking about the country. So how come people are now heaping the blame on Mr. President? After all, this insurgency started way before he became Mr. President.
The president inherited this issue. But anything you inherit, you should be able to address it very well, because one of those things, your campaign promises that you are going to address insecurity. Before you campaign, these things were already there, and we expect him to really address this thing fast. And Donald Trump talking about this issue of genocide and the rest. Let's look at it very well. Donald Trump is not talking about attacking Nigeria. He's talking about attacking terrorists. That is where we have to really capitalize this whole thing. He's talking about addressing this issue of terrorism. So Nigeria should look at it from that angle, have a diplomatic talk with America, and see how America can also support Nigerian security agencies in the area of technological weapons and intelligence gathering and so on and so forth to tackle this issue.
You talk about intelligence gathering. We have an intelligence. You get some governor says, look, we know where they are. You get to hear some military personnel, police personnel, or security agencies saying, until we get the order, we cannot flush them out from X, Y, Z. How is a situation like that? So tell me, how is it about information sharing? Everybody about security sharing. We have this all this while. So what is preventing them from taking action?
That is why I talk about sincerity. If you don't handle security matter in a sincere way, you will breed insecurity. Yes. We should be straightforward when we are handling security matter. We should not be biased. We should not be political. We should not bring religion into it. We should be straightforward. And the intelligence gathering is supposed to be for everybody. It's not only for the security agencies. And I want to say here that we are talking about security. I have a big problem in addressing this issue. Just like you have a house, you build a fine house, but the house does not have a fence. What do you expect to happen to that house? Nigeria is not fenced.
It's not fenced.
Nigeria, that is one of the biggest things we should be talking about. No matter what we put into this country in the area of security, no matter the manpower, no matter the machines, no matter the technology, if you don't check your borders, you are not doing anything. It's just like somebody using basket to fetch water. You can't take anything home. Nigerian government should look at the porosity of our borders. Nigeria has one of the most porous borders on earth, and very vast. Chad is there, Niger is there, Cameroon is there, and then we have 4 countries sharing borders with us. We should look at it. The whole system is porous. Anybody can enter this country. Anybody can bring anything to this country. There are a lot of weapons in this country. Where are they passing? It's the porous border. We talk about building roads, beautiful. We talk about electricity, beautiful. Even the money they put in this coastal road, if they should gather it and handle our borders very well, to an extent, no matter what you do, if your borders are not protected, you are still wasting time.
You are still wasting your time.
Yes.
Now, right now, it's not that Chad already blocked its
Yes.
borders, saying because of the fear of an incursion.
Yeah.
Now, some are saying that sometimes countries sharing borders with us, they might be in collusion with these terrorists. How true is this hypothesis? Because you talked about 4 countries surrounding Nigeria, which you are very, very correct. Let's say our borders are porous. We have countries sharing borders with us. Are they in collude with these terrorist organizations?
Where are these terrorists coming from? They pass through our borders. They don't go through the airports.
Because our borders are being flanked by other countries.
Oh my. They can go through any other country and come into Nigeria. Definitely. If these countries are weak, they can pass through these countries and come, because Nigeria is their focus. Like somebody said, if Nigeria gets it right, Africa will be redeemed. That's why you see more pressure in this country called Nigeria. If our government should take proactive measure in looking at the borders of Nigeria and see how we can manage these borders very well. If you cannot fence the border, you use technology to do it. We're in a technological era whereby you can use the satellites to monitor your borders and know who and who is passing. Because our borders, look at our country. We are faced with so many things. We Nigerians, if I tell you that we are besieged, you look as if I'm going too far. We have a lot of people in Nigeria that we don't know. Even as I'm coming to the studio, I saw a lot of people who are not Nigerians. Where did they pass? What are they doing here? Who are they? Who is profiling them? Who cares about these people? These are potential criminals in the making. When they discover that nothing happens to them, they can do whatever they want to do because they enter this country with a mission. Just check the road between Benin and Abuja. Every day we see trucks of people coming to this direction. Nobody's asking. When they drop the ship, all of them will be offloaded and they enter the bush. Our forests have been taken over. Even our environment where we stay, we see some malignants, we see some kind of people we don't know. Nobody asks. I have traveled, I've been to some countries that before you enter the country, the kind of way they will check you. I went to a place, they said all the Nigerians, if you are a Nigerian, come this way. If you are not Nigerian, go the that way. I was watching. They lined us up and they were taking whatever, try to know who and who is right or wrong. Other countries were doing thumbprinting while we were doing capturing our eyes. And I asked, why the eyes? They said because we are Nigerians. The street shaking when you come to the borders and the entry of other countries. But Nigeria, we only focus our attention on the airport or maybe the seaport, but what about the borders? People are entering this country on a daily basis. So there's no way you can fight insecurity when you don't solve your border problem.
Border problem.
Yes.
All right, now you've heard Dr. Sheriff. We want to go for a break. When we return, we'll continue this discussion. Don't go away. Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is TMI. We're taking a look at the situation right now on the ground about Trump's comment about Nigeria security situation. I have with me here Dr. Sheriff Azeke, security expert. Now, you're talking about porous borders, that no matter what you do, once the borders are porous, it's like we are doing nothing. Now, how do you think we can really check our borders?
We may not be able to fence our borders for now.
Yes.
But the best way to do it is to start. You start doing it. Then we use technology, use the drone. use the satellite to check what is happening, who is coming and who is going out, and what they are bringing and what they are taking away. And you also increase the manpower of immigration officers, those people, border of police, those people who are in charge of border control. You recruit more persons. The personnel, there are very few. Recruit more persons into that direction. Let them check what is coming in, because if you don't check what is coming in, you're in trouble. They can bring anything to this country. Look at Nigeria, it's like a dustbin. Anything comes in. Go to the market. The waste things that people have used over there, Nigeria is like a dumping ground. Where are they passing? Are we talking about arms? To bring arms to this country is not a difficult thing when the borders are porous. So if this aspect of it, the federal government and the security agency, they will look at it very well and give it a priority. To an extent, we are solving this security issue. But if that is not done, we are wasting our time.
Well, now let's take a look at the sophistication of weaponry carried by this personality. 2 weeks ago, was it a week ago, Governor Zulum, or one of the governors in the North, complained bitterly that these guys don't have access to technology vis-a-vis drones.
Yeah.
I mean, with this kind of advancements in tech, with this kind of weaponry that they have, which they exhibit, look at Nigeria, really need help, even if from the US, undermining what Trump is saying, or the way he's painting it. I don't think we need help from the US.
But we claim not to need help. We claim to be the big brother, the giant of Africa. So we don't really need this help. Even right from the time of the former presidents, these things have been on. Indicate the best says when the hunter shoot without missing, they will fly without patience. And these terrorists, they've discovered new ways in which they can terrorize a system. They are using technology. We ought to use technology. We don't need to use a manpower to address this thing. This is a technological era. We should address insecurity with technological advancements. We can make more progress in that direction if we use technology to address insecurity. But our technological level in addressing it is very low. Very low.
Very low. All right, join us from the US is Ahmed Momo. Momodo, good morning this morning.
Good morning, Wilson. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, viewers.
I believe that due to time disparity, you're unable to join us on time, but on that you are conversant with this particular situation. Nigerian security and of course Trump stands giving Nigerian government a marching order to act very, very fast. What can you make out of all this?
Well, there's a lot to unpack in this issue. And again, let me thank you for asking me, inviting me to join you and air my views on this matter. So what has happened is that we've been bombarded by the President of the United States to say that the security situation in Nigeria is harmful, particularly to people of the religious Christians who are being killed at random or who are being targeted for killing. So what he has done is to give Nigeria a marching order that in the event that they are not able to contain the situation in the shortest possible time, he is going to have to send troops to come and curtail the situation, to come and remedy the situation. So on the one side, it's a laughable thing because for him to say he's going to send troops, the first question I would ask is where exactly is he going to send troops to? Is he going to send troops to Lagos? Is he going to send to Abuja? Is he going to send to Maiduguri? Is he going to send to Port Harcourt? Where exactly is he going to send troops? On the other hand, we're not saying that the security situation in Nigeria is a desirable situation. But we are saying that it needs to be addressed with reason, with tact, with a long-term plan, with the emphasis on protecting life and property, and not just bluster, not just political showmanship. The president came from a meeting in France, in China, where he was roundly chastised for his failed tariff policy, and he was looking for a whipping boy. And the easiest one he could find at that time, is, as far as my estimation is concerned, is Nigeria. He was whipped in China, he was whipped in Taiwan, he was whipped everywhere else he had gone. All of the Asian economies have moved on beyond his bluster and his bravado and his cowardice. So he came to a convenient whipping boy. And who is that? Nigeria to come and tell us how to mind our business. Currently in the US, as I speak to you, the government is on shutdown. It's shut down by his party, the Republican Party. It's shut down whereby tomorrow, almost 20 million people are going to go without food if there is a resolution is not found quickly. Now, what is he doing about all of these things? Instead of coming to face the reality of what is going on in his country, he issues a threat halfway around the world to say that Christians are suffering a genocide. The terms of a genocide have been clearly defined. There is no part of Nigeria where a genocide is going on right now. Yes, people are being killed. Yes, it is unfair. Yes, the security situation is one of grave concern. But to call it a Christian genocide is beyond imagination, because people are dying on both sides of the religious divide. Christians are dying, Muslims are dying, and then the joining of where all of these deaths is connected is because of banditry, is because of terrorism, is because of people that are taking laws into their own hands, is because of clashes, is because of sectional clashes, ethnic clashes, religious clashes, and in some cases, even communal clashes. So to simply just lump all of this and say Christians are being persecuted, or is it beggars belief? Because to my own mind, I don't know where that is happening. I stand to be corrected.
Thank you so much, Mamadou, for giving us your own view, because you talked about the vast nature of Nigeria. Where is it going to send the troops? It really wants to, do what he has promised to do. But Trump is known with one thing. Whenever he says something, he likes seeing it through. All right, now talk about the internal problem the U.S. is having right now. They'll be able to resolve it because of the shutdown of the government, so to speak. And 20 million may just go without food because there is no money. But if you take a look at Trump's concern, someone is saying that it's truly an outer, or not even an outer of truth, that he speaks the truth, even if you don't like the way he colors it. But the truth is the truth, that people are being killed in Nigeria. Christians are being killed in Nigeria, even Muslims also. They're being killed. Now, what do you think the government's response should be? You get to hear the NSA having a meeting with the joint team saying in case there's an incursion. Is that the right response?
I think Trump issue is a wake-up call for our security agencies and the federal government as in the big picture. I think everybody needs to really come to the drawing table and see how we can tackle it. We can solve our problems. We don't even need America to come and solve our problems if we are sincere. That's why I say sincerity is very important when it comes to addressing security matter. Because where there is no sincerity, there will be insecurity. The government should be sincere enough to give a marching order to address this security issue holistically. We know everybody is being affected. Whether you're a Christian or you are a Muslim or you are whoever you are, everybody is affected. And one person killed, a Nigerian killed, should be a concern to everybody. But we are getting to a point whereby you hear 50 people killed this morning, everybody is just moving, it's like nothing happened. We should have this concern for each other. We should have we should be our brother's keeper when it comes to this issue of security. And there's something I advocate for some time now, which has to do with security awareness. The government is not doing much in this area of creating a kind of atmosphere, a platform for security awareness. The citizens should be much more educated. They should have education in this aspect of security, awareness, enlightenment, and high sensitization. These 4 factors: enlightenment, education, sensitization, and education. If we are educated in this direction, everybody will sit tight and become security agent. We don't need the police everywhere to come and address our issue. You're already a police of yourself. And if we address it from that angle, we are trained from that angle, we are educated, we are sensitized, the way COVID-19 was addressed. When COVID-19 came, you see the high level of sensitization. Even the woman in the village knows how to wash her hands. This distant issue, the government took it very high. If the government can take that spirit into this security issue, sensitize the people, let this level of sensitization be very high. I'm security conscious, we are security conscious, everybody is security conscious. to an extent, we can solve the problem.
All right, let's go to Momodu right now. You heard him, he said everyone should be security conscious, but what do you feel about, excuse me, the reactions of Nigerians vis-a-vis the NSA leader, so to speak, saying that the security chiefs should come together, they should get set. Some are saying that get set for what? Do you want to fight against the US or get set to really fight the people causing the problem? What do you feel about the NSA reaction right now?
I agree with the doctor. I agree that time has come when we must treat each loss of life as one life lost too many. The time has come where we must tell our government that everybody that is dying needlessly. The time has come where we must all stand together and try and resist. But these things are not happening in isolation. I will not stand as the spokesman for the government, but if you look at the challenges that have been wrought in the last, let's say, 20 years, as far as insecurity is concerned, starting from, you see, the irony is when the US president talks about a situation in Nigeria as if it's happening in isolation. The major problem that brought this escalation has been the illicit flow of arms, small arms, medium arms, and large arms from the destruction of the Libyan state. Libya was a militarized state. Libya was a country that manufactured its own weapons, and it had weapons in abundance. Now, the destruction of the militarized state that allowed small, medium, and large scale arms to just find their way across all of Africa is what we are seeing the result of today. It is not just something that happened overnight. Now, for the US to come back and say they want to come and step into Nigeria in a situation that they are aware that they created, it beggars belief. So, but what do we do as a people? We need to come together. We need to be our own brother's keeper. We know that our military is undermanned. We know that our police are undermanned. We're talking of a force, a combined force of all the armed forces that is less than, I want to even say less than 5 million. If you join the police, the army, and the navy, and the air force, I don't think they're up to 5 million. Let's just exaggerate and say 10 million. For a population of 200, almost 300 million people, that is completely ridiculous. And then when you think about the land mass of Nigeria, let me just give you a simple example. When they keep on talking about Zambisa forest, you would think that Zambisa forest is a small place. If you take Ibadan, Lagos, and some other of the southwest states, it will fit into Zambisa forest very easily. That is the landmass that we're talking about. How do you police such a place? Are you going to send all your resources just to police that area? It is impossible. So we need, like the doctor pointed out, we need to come to not just technological advancement, we need to look at how to allow our own people possibly even to arm themselves against some of these bandits. We are talking about bandits that roam freely, unchecked, because there are large expanses of land that the federal government cannot, in all good conscience, cover easily. So we need technological assistance, we need human assistance, we also need self-help. I think the time has come when Nigeria needs to look at how people will arm themselves so that they can defend their own lives and their property against these marauding hordes. Now, it will be interesting for me to point out at this point in time that a lot of these things that we say are just Fulani headsmen, for example, etc., etc. The Fulanis themselves are not strictly of one particular religion. There are Fulanis who are Christians. There are Fulanis who are Muslims. There are Fulanis who are also pagans. So when you look at things in one way, you miss the large narrative. There's a lot that needs to be done, and it needs to be done fast to secure the lives and property of Nigerians. And this is something that we must keep on pressing our federal government to take as priority.
Thank you so much. Well, you heard him. He said you're correct in all that you said, but some are expecting that instead of you calling the service chief to say you are getting set for a possible incursion by the US, why not use that zest to fight these people causing the problem, to fight the people that made the US president to talk to us as a country the way he did?
Like I said, it's a wake-up call for everybody, not just the government, but the citizens. And we should be very proactive. It's not a matter of we want to we want to address, we want to combat, we want to confront Trump or the US. It doesn't call for that one. When somebody calls you, you are stupid, it's telling you not to be stupid. It's not an insult, but just telling you not to be stupid. What Trump is saying right now is that everybody should sit tight. Like what he said, let's call a spade a spade.
It's paid, yeah.
The security situation is very, very tense in Nigeria. And the people who are managers of security, they are few. They are very few. Look at the police. They are not to 500,000. How can less than 500,000 police officers police a country of about 250 million? That is a suicide mission. Even the military, they are few too. That is why they need to be a kind of approach to that direction. Increase the manpower. Increase the weaponry. Even the police, I keep on saying, even the police is underfunded and undermanned too. The police, they are very few, and the government should put more attention on the police, fund them, give them good equipment to handle this issue. Even the military also. Then, but in the bigger picture, Nigerians should be carried along. It's not the security issue is not meant for uniform people. It's for everybody, because security affects everybody. Whether you are a Muslim, whether you are a Christian, or you are a traditionalist, security is not a respecter of this religion. It's not a respecter of political position. Like the scripture which says, when the wall is broken, the serpent will bite. We should look at where the wall is broken, and everybody come to the drawing table and see how we can fight this thing holistic. Nigerians are dying. Nigerians are being killed every day. We should come as a team, not as a political body, not as a religious body. We should come as Nigerians. Look at Italy. After building Italy, they began to build Italians. We are building Nigeria, but not building Nigerians. It is high time to focus on the citizens. The protection of every Nigerian is a great task by the government, to see everybody in this country, we are protected. That is what we are looking at. It's not an issue of religion or political ethnicity or whatever. We should come together as a team and fight this battle.
All right, now let's get straight down to US, where Ahmed is standing by. So we should come together as a team to fight this battle. Well, former President late Muhammadu Buhari did something which Nigerians are still reeling over, saying what he did was a huge mistake. But I'd like people to come in without visa. Do you think that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should revoke that particular standard, at least for us to have a grip of our borders?
So when somebody comes in without visa, it doesn't necessarily mean that the person is undocumented. It simply means that the process of entry is relaxed to allow them come in. But they will still have documents, they will still have proof of his entry and his residence, etc., etc. You are still going to fill out an entry card that tells the destination where you are going, where you are expected to be contacted in the event of any emergency, etc., etc. So some of these things are taken out of proportion. What the administration needs to do beyond just the simple things that we see every day is to take a more serious, a more holistic look at several aspects of the security enterprise, not just the security architecture. The citizens is very important. Just like the doctor pointed out, the citizens have to be inculcated into our security architecture in such a way that the people themselves feel like it is part of their own progress, is part of their own benefit when they secure their environment. Right now, as it is, if a marauding force comes into a village, nobody is armed and they are not able to protect themselves in any way. Some of these things have to change. We really need to look at if there's a situation where there are outposts that are manned by citizens themselves who are trained essentially, just like it happens in Israel, for example. They have military training. I think it is 2 or 3 years. It's compulsory. Once you reach the age of 18, you must undergo military training. You learn how to shoot a weapon, and then that weapon is kept with them for the period of that training. Some of these things are things we need to inculcate. Perhaps if we look at the NYSC as a starting point, where it is not just used for what it is done right now, but some sort of military training where people are taught how to handle weapons, some kind of militarization that allows the citizens to be able to act on a different way, not just as a response or to be sitting ducks whenever they are attacked. Some of these are larger conversations that we have to have.
All right. Now you talked about enlisting to the military because Israel they have a plan. They still have it to date. Once you get to a certain age, you must serve. You talked about the numbers of police personnel, army personnel, navy. You just name it. Where you try to compare with the population that we have as a nation, they are overwhelmed. Should what he suggested be implemented? Once you're 18 and above, or you are serving the National Youth Service Corps, there must be an automatic enlisted into the military, into the police, into the army, you just name it. At least to combat insecurity, at least to show up the numbers.
I think sensitization education in this direction should be a priority. It's like we've missed it somewhere. Can we just still miss it from the down? This younger generation coming up, let's do something about them by really educating them when it comes to the nitty-gritty of security. Before you get to the school, at least that first week, the first week of resumption should be used for security orientation. We have orientation camp. Every school, if the government can come up, put security as a curriculum in our syllabus. Don't mass physics, chemistry. At the end of the day, you finish secondary school, you finish university, you cannot even define the word security. That is our problem because we lack this understanding about security. Let it start from the primary school. As you resume school, the government should make it a compulsory thing. 1 week, that first 1 week should be orientation program for everybody to be security conscious. You give them the nitty-gritty of security. So that throughout that school period, they will carry this picture of security consciousness, personal security, environmental security, and put security as a course in the curriculum.
In the curriculum?
Let it be a general thing that as you finish secondary school, you must have gone through security training. You don't wait. Not everybody will go to university. At least that thing will be there, that as long as you pass through secondary school in Nigeria, you must have gotten security understanding on how to self-defense, self-protection, be conscious of your environment, know who and who is around you. That thing should be inculcated in the minds of every Nigerian. So as you grow up, everybody will be more security conscious. That consciousness should be there.
All right, now, Ahmed, do you agree to his suggestion saying that security, how will I put it now, teachers about security should be included in the curriculum of our schools, from secondary schools, primary schools, university, even after NYAC, something should be done to give Nigerians that particular sense of being security conscious?
I think it's a fantastic idea. I think it's a laudable idea. I think it's something that should be inculcated, not just like he said, from primary, secondary, university, even people who are working. If we had a forum where, for example, I think it used to happen in the past, but I'm not sure. Then it was simply a matter of lining up people that have been convicted or caught for one crime or the other. But what he's suggesting is something that is laudable. And the idea is simply that the more people are security conscious, the less easy it is for crimes to be committed. Why is that? Because most crimes are crimes of opportunity. Crimes are crimes of opportunity. Somebody finds that somebody dropped something carelessly and then he picks it up. But when everybody is conscious of their surroundings, conscious of who is around them, conscious of all the activity that is going on around, 3 or 4 or 5 people can tell you if, for example, there's a robbery, they can quickly describe the vehicle that came, the plate number, the number of the occupants, the direction they are heading, what kind of weapons they were carrying, and how they looked to the security forces. You will see a drastic reduction in crime. So I think it's a brilliant idea. I think that and inculcating a security infrastructure that allows people to either volunteer themselves to be trained for security training or security awareness, that and some other laudable schemes like that will allow us to build a more secure environment where we don't only depend on the security services, but the citizens themselves feel like a part of that security architecture.
All right, now let me come to you, Dr. Sheriff. Now, you've given a lot of ideas saying that should be imputed into the curriculum. But some of the opinion that the way the military allow people to come into the fold seems to be a major problem. They are citing religion, they are citing tribe, they are citing ethnicity, nepotism, tribalism as an impediment to enlist into the military, and then accusing the government of allowing a particular tribe or religion to be more into the military when compared to others. Do you feel that this is really what is affecting the enthusiasm of some Nigerians from other parts of the country to really enlist into the military, knowing fully well that they are overstretched?
I think to an extent you may be correct. The religion of the military should be loyalty and service.
The loyalty and service?
Yes. Military does not have Christianity as a religion or Islam as a religion. They only have one religion, which is unity and service. So when you are coming to the military, you don't come with the religious mindset. You don't come with an ethical mindset.
But people are saying that that is what is happening right now.
But unfortunately, that's what we are seeing. It ought not to be so. It ought not to be so at all. But unfortunately, we are getting to that point. So we could come out from that aspect and treat the matter very, very neutral.
You just hold on. I want to go for a break. We'll return. We'll conclude the discussion. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
The energy from breakfast doesn't last my child the whole day. By halftime, they are low on energy. That's why break time is the right time to re-energize. It's that break time energy that helps keep your champ in the game.
Pack the nourishing energy of Milo with a great taste into the lunchbox every day. Milo, energy to go further. Milo!
Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is TMI. You can call it this morning on IT. We're taking a look at Nigerian security situation, of course, the stance of President Donald Trump. We're talking about the process of allowing people or personnel to come into our military, being affected by religion, ethnicity, you just name it. Continue from there.
I think Nigeria first should be the picture. When you are entering the military, it's Nigerian first. Service, loyalty. We should put religion aside. We should put political connection aside or ethnicity aside and see Nigeria as the field in which we are going to serve. Patriotism is very important because the level of patriotism in this country is very, very low. We can kindle it again by making everybody look equal, making everybody feel belonging. You are not segregating one part of the section and focusing on one part. Neutralize the system. It's part of the insecurity we are talking about because insecurity has a lot of branches. When we say insecurity, our mindset will always go to terrorism and the gun and whatever. No. We should allow this whole issue to play. Then the issue of educating the people, which I said, please, is very, very important. The police, everybody should be a police. We should work with the police, we should work with the military. There should be no gap between the police and the citizens. If we come together, synergize together, because we are all partners in this whole thing, we are stakeholders. Everybody is a stakeholder. And if everybody is seen as a stakeholder, we'll see we can fight this thing headlong and solve it. That's why I said, we don't even need America to solve this problem. We can solve it ourselves. If we come together in unity, it's a small thing to address. Even the military, we have a good military, well-trained military. If they are giving the marching order, I'm telling you, 48 hours will be too small for them to handle this issue.
We were talking years now.
Yes.
Are you saying 48 hours?
I'm telling you, my brother, we have what it takes to solve this problem. We don't need America. If we are sincere, we have what it takes to solve this problem.
All right, let's get to hear from Ahmed as we are getting set to hand over to our Abuja Network Center. Ahmed, you heard him talking about the entrance into our military. Somehow said that's been shrouded in ethnicity, in religion, bigotry, you just name it. How do you think this can be solved for us to really have easy access to join the Nigerian military?
So I don't think that's entirely accurate, Wilson, because if you recall, I want to say this was about 2 or 3 months ago. There was even an incident where the military had a recruitment process and they had to send people to scout in Edo State. I recall they met with the chief of staff to the governor and they made a passionate appeal that other nationalities were sending representatives to come for recruitment, but Edo State numbers were low. So I think what we need to address is not just the recruitment process. We need to address the mindset of our people that coming into service is not it's not something where you expect immediate rewards, but it's something of service, patriotism, it's something of giving to your fatherland, it's something of selfless service. Some of these things are not done properly. Possibly our people are not as enlightened as they are at what it entails. But this is it's a civic responsibility in most parts of the world. It's something of pride. But we have a population now that think more in terms of what they can gain than what they can give. Some of these things need to be changed through social interaction, civic responsibility, civic studies, etc., etc. But by and large, it is the responsibility of everybody to give a secure environment if they expect a secure environment.
All right, thank you so much, Ahmed. And of course, thank you also, Dr. Sharif Ezekiel.